All right. Good afternoon and happy Friday. Thank you for joining us at the Academy of Creative Coaching. We are talking about what's happening at ACC, and I am Lee Watts, the CMO at the Academy of Creative Coaching, and we are here with Jay Hurt. He is our COO, and all questions, direct them to Jay Hurt. So, Jay, thank you for joining us here this beautiful Friday afternoon.
Thank you for having me, Lee. I really appreciate it. Looking
Yes,
forward to having a conversation about what all's going on with the Academy.
yes, and there's always stuff going on. We're always having amazing offerings and bringing hopefully really valuable programming to you all. So if you are a coach that needs more equipping, certifications, knowledge, support, we're here for you for that. If you are a wanting to be a certified coach, we are here to help you with your certifications and even to talk through it. So Jay Hurt is always available for one-on-one calls. If you are just thinking about how to make sense of your career and what your next step should be or what the right program is for you, we're here to help with that as well. So we're going to get into what's happening with ACC. And the first thing we want to talk about is kind of the easy stuff. We have a couple of weekend intensives coming up. And Jay, for people who do not know, can you tell them a little bit about what a weekend intensive is? Because it is intense. And but the benefits of it, because there are many. But if you want to just touch on that, because we have one coming up on June 23rd, the ACC weekend intensive, and then we have a PCC weekend intensive coming up in July. So do you want to touch on that? Just what a weekend intensive is. Are you there, Jay? I think you froze. All right, so Jay froze on us, so hopefully he'll be back in just a second. But our weekend intensives is a time for people to register who want to get their certification, but they want to do it in a fast way, but still providing the most, all the information, all the expertise, everything that you would need. So we have details on the breakdown of how you can get all your hours. But if you are thinking, I want to be a certified coach, I don't have 3 months or 6 months to do this. I want to get this done very quickly so I can move on to growing my professional career or starting my coaching business. The weekend intensives are the way to go. So again, we have one coming up on June 23rd, the ACC weekend intensive, and then we have a PCC weekend intensive starting in July. So the other thing we are going to talk about is the CFE intensive. So as many of you may have seen on our social media, or you may have heard us talk about it on other ACC, what's happening at ACC, we have partnered with the um, Coaching for Everyone organization, which they are committed to certifying, I believe, 500 BIPOC coaches by the end of this year, or maybe it's next year, but they are on a mission. They see the need, and we have partnered with them to provide that certification, to provide that content, and help the people that they have identified, the people who have applied to their organization, get through the process. So we are super excited for that. I think we are in the middle of our second cohort with them, and we are bringing Jay back. We're in the middle of our. Thank you for joining us today.
Technology is
It
always
happens.
fun, right? It
It
happens.
happens. It happens. But I already shared with them a little bit about what a weekend intensive is, and then we started to talk about the CFE intensive and just our collaboration with them. And we have we're going on our third, I think, cohort with them, and so the
Yeah.
deadline for that is July 5th. And wonderful organization, great mission, and we're so glad that our mission collaborates and aligns with them. So we're having a great time just providing a lot of the content, the support around that. But I wanted to touch on that just before we skipped through that for in just a minute. Of again, if you have questions about if you are a right fit for the CFE intensive, or if your organization is serious about diversity and increasing their diversity footprint, this is an excellent way to come to your chief diversity officer or your diversity department and say, hey, let's be intentional with our efforts. Can we partner with this organization to develop some coaches? Anything else you want to say on that, Jay?
I think you really touched on all of it. I'll just reiterate just a bit that, CFE is an incredible organization. We're trying to grow the footprint of coaches of color throughout the coaching
Mm-hmm.
industry. So we'd love to have you in July, be a part of the ACC and the PCC weekend intensives. I think it's something that will really add to your current cachet of what you do, whether you're inside of an organization or wanting to grow your own practice. So we'd love to have you. So like Lee said, the deadline is July 5th, and let us know if you're interested.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I've already mentioned that we have our ACC weekend intensive coming up June 23rd. And so, just again, I talked about what a weekend intensive is, but listen, it is summer. Some of you are like, I want to come back in the fall, my professional development, new goals. I love fall. I love fall because I love it. To me, it's almost like a new year. Like you have your January goals and you kind of go through, and then September there's kind of renewal after the summer break, and you're ready to close out the year strong. And you may be thinking, let me go ahead and get my certifications done so I can close out the year strong and be ready for 2023. This is a fast but effective and still thorough way to get your certification.
Agreed.
Finally, not finally, we got a couple more things to talk about, but do want to mention we have another mindfulness cafe coming up with actually one of our colleagues from CFE, and we're going to be talking about peer-to-peer coaching. So, Jay, you want to just touch on what that is in case our audience doesn't know?
Sure. Absolutely. So peer-to-peer coaching, when you go through a coach training program, one of the requirements of the ICF at the first level, at the ACC level, is to get at least 100 hours of coaching to get that ICF credential. And at the PCC level, the second level, is to get 500 hours of coaching. While you're in that process, there are opportunities to coach other folks that are in the coach training process, right? And so that's peer-to-peer coaching. So that is something that we're launching very soon with the Academy. We've got a beta test going on right now. So definitely look forward to Lee having that conversation with Dion on what that looks like, what that experience is, how that gets you prepared, the repetitions, the work that you put in, and how it begins to take you to kind of have a nice launch into your coaching experience before you get thrown out to the world to become a brand new credential coach. So that's what that looks like. And Dion and Lee will go into a lot more depth about that in Mindfulness Cafe. And we look forward to having you share that experience.
Yes, definitely a value add for our program. We've consistently heard from people who've gone through the program or people who are thinking about it that they want more of that peer-to-peer, that one-on-one, that feedback, practice. We have all of that for you to make sure you are equipped to be the best coach possible. Couple other things. We have Juneteenth coming up. So Jay, do you want to talk about Juneteenth?
We do. So I just want to talk about Juneteenth briefly, right? So it's an important date um, in the lives of Black Americans. And honestly, it's an important day in the lives of all Americans, right? So, the Emancipation Proclamation and that slaves were freed in 1865. But the reality is, all of the slaves were not aware that they were freed until a couple of years later, right? When slaves living in Texas, the Emancipation Proclamation happened in 1863. The slaves in Texas became aware in 1865 that they were free. So, the day has been called many things over the years, right? It's been called Freedom Day, Jubilee Day, Liberation Day, Emancipation Day, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this was the first time that those slaves knew that there was something, there was an opportunity for freedom. So creating a federal holiday for Juneteenth is important, right? Because it's more than about the technical idea that slavery was removed, right? It's more about the idea that we were all aware, right? We
Yeah.
all know this is really a true day when all of us had an opportunity to experience that level of freedom, right? So, at the end of the day, it's really a reminder of what Black people have, worked to overcome. It's a solemn remembrance of the lives destroyed by, some of the oppression that we went through, and it's also an opportunity to examine the racism that we've dealt with, and more importantly, create dialogues around the present day iniquities that we still face, right? And I pull that from an expert that was shared with me because I think that's so powerful, right? So I think it's important that we honor Juneteenth. Juneteenth is coming up in a couple of days on Sunday. I think the federal holiday is officially on Monday. Some cities have events about Juneteenth, regardless of race, ethnic background, right? It's all part of our history, it's all part of our heritage, and it helps us move forward in a healthy way. So definitely take an opportunity to celebrate that holiday. And yeah, as a company that we pride ourselves on our Jedi training, our justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion work that we do. Juneteenth is going to be a big part of our experience, and we want to honor that. And hopefully, you get an opportunity to honor it as well.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes. And so you'll see some communication about Juneteenth on next week. And as Jay mentioned, just throughout the rest of the month, we want to remember what that all means to us in various different ways. And our company is built on some of the same principles and mindsets around just the freedom, human centeredness, all those things. So we definitely want to honor that. Um, One of our last things we want to talk about, speaking of our foundation of our company, we wanted to talk about the YouTube channel and just platform of our founder and president, Dr. Pamela Larde, and she has the Joy Whisperer. If you've not checked out the podcast or the YouTube, please do. And so, Jay, you want to talk a little? I think you've been a guest on it recently, Jay. Do you want to talk a little bit about it,
I was a
Jay?
guest. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So, can you hear me?
You
Can you
are
hear me?
breaking up a lot. Uh-oh, I think we're losing them.
We're losing me. Hang on, hang on. Don't do this.
We can hear you,
Can
so maybe
you
it'll
can
work.
hear me now?
Yes, I can see you clearly.
Okay.
I can hear you. Let's do it.
Have to switch networks or what have you. I don't know why we're doing this on a Friday afternoon. Maybe the network is tired of the heat as well here in Atlanta.
Right.
So the Joy Whisperer is the YouTube channel of Dr. Pamela Larde, our owner and founder and CEO. And it's a part of her research is an extension of what we do with the academy, right? And she has a lot of research in the area of joy, right? One of her recent episodes was around the dark side of joy and how there can be such thing as malicious and toxic joy. Like, I had no idea, right? So this is a great conversation. It's a great way to understand how joy powerful and impactful thing in our lives, and how it really brings change and helps us really move forward, and how we make sure to push aside and do the work on some of those things that are bringing us problems, right? Like, for example, toxic joy. So definitely check her out on YouTube. It is the Joy Whisperer, as you see it on the screen, and we'd love to have you, and jump in the comments and let us know what you think.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Very great information. And as you said, research coming from Dr. Pamela Larde. So I think that may cover some of our things about what's happening at ACC. Do you want to talk about any other YouTube channels?
So she's trying to lead me, y'all. What she's trying to do is lead me. And yes, I'll throw it out there. That's fine. She's trying to get me to talk about my YouTube channel, which is called The Confident Charismatic. And I'm a relationship coach, right? So there's research around the things that I talk about as well. So we have a good time. We talk about how to build on your confidence, how to be more charismatic, ultimately how to win at life. A lot of what I discuss is targeted towards men, but a lot of it is going to support you ladies as well. So we'd love to have you join that conversation. Jump in the comments too, because I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Leah.
I listened to one, I think yesterday morning, and I thought it was very informative. It was geared toward men, but it could definitely apply to women about, just being more positive and like the energy you bring to a relationship, to any situation, and how it impacts relationships and stuff. So if
And there's a
everyone
lot of
learns something.
absolutely, and there's a lot of coaching in there, right? So a lot of what I'm doing there is talking about coaching. So definitely come through, stop by, and let us know what you think.
Yeah. All right. So just wanted to come through before we hit the weekend and let you all know again what's happening at ACC. So hopefully you picked up some new information and you are ready to sign up for a weekend intensive or share more about our CFE intensives and what we're doing for BIPOC coaches and how we're really trying to just impact and change the world. So any questions, please contact us. Jay Hurt is always available for a one-on-one call and to answer any questions you may have. So thank you all and have an amazing weekend.